This What Up Wednesday video is going to be a little bit different than a normal What Up Wednesday video.
Normal?
This is a review of a video we did several years ago. I think it was in our second year.
I think so too.
We did this video and we still get the question asked a lot. So we thought we'd just show this video again. And then we've got something for you at the end of it. So you ready?
Here we go. We're reviewing the question, whose idea was this anyway?
Sunsets like a tangerine. Let's find a road we've never seen. Life is short, make it sweet.
Whose idea was it to do this? Living full-time in an RV and traveling.
Wasn't mine. Not that I don't love it. I love it.
It was my idea. So we're going to tell you about that. So one day when I was going to the post office, I saw this place that sold RVs, used RVs. So it was a little lot, sold them. And I had kind of been milling around in my head for a couple of months about living full-time, trying to get away from the stresses of normal everyday life and doing something different, traveling, living full-time in an RV.
Not that I stress her out every day, but I pretty much do.
Yeah. So I go across the street from the post office to this little RV lot and I start looking at some of them. My first thought was, because years and years I've always thought about doing this and thinking, oh, it would be great to live in a motorhome and, you know, have your house right there with you. And so I went and looked at a couple of those. And the first one was really nice. A lot of money, way more than we would ever be able to afford. And the first thing I thought of was, Tom's going to think this is a tour bus. He's going to say, no. So then the next one I went into was a little bit smaller, and he would think, no, this is a camper. I don't want to go camping. He's not a camper. So the next one I go to is this big fifth wheel, and I go inside, and my jaw hit the floor. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so pretty. It doesn't look like a camper. It had an island kitchen and everything. And I was like, wow, this is really neat. So I kept researching it. I kept going back and visiting it. And I wanted to have all my ducks in a row before I presented it to him. Because he would...
Watch it.
He's a doubting Thomas. So he would have said, no, we can't afford it. No, I can't do that. No, we got to work for the rest of our lives. No, can't do it. So I wanted to have all of the rebuttals to all of his naysaying. So
what do you think? I like the word
binder.
no?
Yes, you could ask a lot of people that know us. Anyway, so one Saturday morning, we're doing our normal get up, eat our breakfast, have our coffee, play on the computer type of thing. Well, I cut my routine short and started getting ready to go somewhere. And he's like, well, what are you doing? And I said, well, we're going to go somewhere. I said, I'm going to take you for a little drive and I don't want you to be negative. I don't want you to be negative.
Me? Being negative?
Yep. So we get in the car and we go up the street to the little RV lot across from the post office and...
That's really a U-Haul dealer.
And a rental car place.
We pull up and I'm like, why are we at a U-Haul dealer? And she goes, don't be negative. I'm like, okay, whatever. So we get out, we walk to the lot. She takes me inside this tour bus, big Class A, and she looks around and I kind of look around and she goes, what do you think? And I go, it's a tour bus. Only I didn't say it that nicely. And so
Not that tour buses aren't nice.
Oh, yeah.
Because they really are. But
I don't think I could live in one.
There you go.
So then she takes us out and we go into a smaller Class A. And she goes, what do you think of this? And I go, it's a tour bus. It's like...
Still a hallway.
It's a hallway, it's a tour bus. She goes, okay, follow me. So she goes walking across this lot, U-Haul dealer lot, two people on the lot go, "Hey, Lori, how you doing?" And I'm not putting two and two together, like, how do they know her? So then she takes me over to this fifth wheel, and she points it out, and she says, "What do you think of this?" And I go, "It's a trailer." She walks inside, and I took a step up and put one step inside of it and kind of looked around. I'm looking, and I backed down, and I look at the outside, and I came back in. I go, "How the hell did they do that?" This thing was huge inside.
So once he, took a look around and actually liked the way it looked, it didn't look like a camper, it didn't look like a tour bus.
Nothing against camping people and nothing against artists who are on their tour buses.
Yeah, because there's some really, really nice ones we've
That's
been
true.
on. So.
That's true.
But anyway, so we're sitting there and we're, looking around, and I asked him, I said, do you think you could live in this and something like this and travel around? And he's like, I could probably do it, but you never could. And I went, what do you mean? He said, you'd have to get rid of all your crap. And I know you're never going to get rid of all your crap. I went, okay. So that was on a Saturday. So all day Sunday, he spent researching about fifth wheels and RVing and
Living
full-time
full-time.
living in them.
Never heard of it until then. And so I start reading about it, and it's like, what is this? Why do people live in these things? So I researched the heck out of it.
And we researched, and by the end of Sunday, he was like, sounds like a good idea.
I'm sold.
However, you're going to have to go get a job. Okay. So that was a Saturday, Sunday before a Martin Luther King Monday. Monday morning, he goes off to work, and I get ready, and I head out looking for a job. So I go to this place. It was a real estate office that was next to like a restaurant. And so I go in this real estate office, and I ask them, if they're looking for any help. I'm looking for a job. And they were like, oh my gosh, we were just thinking we, needed somebody here, heaven sent, blah, blah, blah. And so we got to talking, and I got hired. So I go home.
She calls me at work and says, I got a job. And I went, really? Doing what? And she tells me what it is. And I go, when do you start? And she goes, in an hour. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, we're going to buy a fifth wheel.
Yeah, so I got the job, started the job, and I had already made a list of all, how we would downsize and get rid of things. And
in fact, we've got a couple videos on that. I'm going to link them up here in the corner. It'll either be up here or up here.
So we
or
right
in the
away,
description below.
The first thing we did was we called our youngest daughter and had her and her boyfriend come up and handed her a sticky note and said, go shopping.
Put your name on anything you want in the house except my big TV and that bed.
They still put their tags on those just in case. Because we said, put it on anything and everything that you want. You may or may not get it. We may have to sell it to you, or whatever. We'll have to see. So they, went through the house. They kind of felt a little weird because it was like, we're going to ask you for all this stuff. And it was like, put it on there.
Put your name on stuff.
Put your name on stuff.
Take what you want.
Yep. So they did that, and that was a good stepping stone for starting to get rid of things. And then we started scheduling out garage sales. So every month we would have a garage sale, and we would give people save the date cards to remind them that next month we're going to do another one, and there's going to be more stuff as we went through the house and started purging everything.
She says, stuff. We've got more junk to get rid of.
Negative Nelly.
Hey now, look where we are.
Exactly. Look where we are.
It took 2 years for us to downsize. We made it a very gradual shift, and after 2 years, here we are, and now we've been traveling for 2 years, believe it or not. So it's been a 4-year ordeal since we originally...
Not an ordeal.
It's been a 4-year process since we started
to get to this point of us making a video
we are
for you about
finally
that.
saying, here's how we got started.
Here's how we got started. So there it is in a nutshell, and we are loving it. And we're meeting so many people.
We're having a blast.
That are on the same wavelength as us of living full-time in our RV and traveling around.
It's so stress-free, and I've started a little business on the side. Lori's doing bookkeeping stuff for her sister, and that's getting us through day-by-day life, and no stress. Woof.
Well,
No
there
stress.
are stressful times. It's just not on an every single day basis. I mean, it is not all sunshine and whipped cream, but...
although that is kind of nice when it is. But, you know, we get to go anywhere we want in the country, and we're still working, we're still connected, and just having a blast and loving life. But, again, thanks to this one...
It was my idea.
100% her idea. I didn't have any inkling I would ever
I
live
researched a couple of months and
in a
kept
fifth
notes
wheel.
and had all of my ducks in a row before I presented it to him. So
because I'm
a doubting Thomas. So there you have it. That's how we began our full-time life in an RV.
So, what'd you think of that?
Well,
We thought you guys would like to see that again. If you haven't seen it already, then now you know.
we still get that question asked more than any other question.
We do.
How did you guys start full-timing? Whose idea was it?
Yes.
So now you know. And what we want to know about yours is, what we want to know from you is, what about yours? Whose idea was it for you to go full-timing?
Yep.
It had to be one or the other. Couldn't have been both of you. So whose idea was it?
We're taking a poll.
We want to know.
So, give
You
us a-
have to answer. Everyone has to answer.
Please.
Whose
we would
idea
love
was
it if you would answer whose idea. Was it his or hers?
And you know what? It doesn't really matter whose idea it was, as long as you go along with it and say, yes, ma'am, everything will be fine.
And it doesn't matter whose idea was it, as long as you say yes.
Right. Hey, did you like the video? Give it a big thumbs up if you did. It helps us a lot. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Click subscribe and then ring the bell and get notified every time we put up a brand new video. We're trying to come up with some interesting things for you. We hope this is one of them. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
watching.
See ya.
Take your banner